Hello, my name is Eileen Dobbing. I'm the Senior Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer for the Charity Health System. It is a pleasure for me to share with you the incorporation of Dr. Jean Watson's theory of caring into our culture and our professional practice model of nursing. Since 2010, we have shared this philosophy with our staff, our physicians, all our disciplines, and our patients and families. As a result, we have heard over 100 stories of caring moments that have been shared with our nursing staff and leadership. We know now that from these 100 stories, we have actually encultured our staff with this theory of caring. And it has produced very positive results for our patients. I'm very proud of the nursing staff and their abilities to incorporate this theory into their daily practice.
Recently, I had a cardiac episode and had to be taken to Secours Community Hospital for treatment, and very quickly sent down to Good Samaritan Hospital because of its expertise with treating heart patients. From the time I went into the door out of the ambulance until I left 5 days later, the care was fantastic. The nursing staff not only treated the physical problems, but they were truly educators. They kept explaining to me what I had to do, what the medicines were for, and never been known to be able to handle taking the medications very well. But the purpose of them and how important it was to take the medications on time. After being moved down from the critical care unit, we also met a nurse that was just unbelievable, not just as a professional nurse, but as a human being. My wife made a slight mistake in the panic of getting us into the hospital and into the ambulance, and left all my clothes at home, so I had no clothes to be released in.
Dana came in the room and I said I'm going to take a taxi because I was staying at the hotel because I wouldn't drive back and forth to the hospital, and I was going to take a taxi to go to Walmart. And she said, you know what, today's my daughter's birthday, I have to go get an extra present. I'll take you to Walmart. And I said, no. And she said, no, that's fine. It's fine. And we kind of said, okay, we'll meet at a certain time. She picked me up. We went to Walmart, and then she was excellent. She went her way, I went my way. We found some things. She helped me decide, don't get the slippers, they're not going to fit. Just put 2 pair of those hospital socks on his feet. He's going in the car. It'll be fine. She took me back to the hotel. And we had a great relationship that way. And the next visit, we met her again, and we just, we're old friends. And it was great to see her.
I think that human interest in the patients, she didn't even know me for 24 hours, and she helped both my wife and I have a comfortable stay and not have an argument over not having any clothes to go home in.
She didn't hesitate. She didn't hesitate to help us.
Hi, we're here today to tell you about a patient that we've had. We had him for multiple admissions. He was very well known to us. His last admission, he was admitted with heart failure, and it was really his dying days. And he kept begging us to keep him alive for just one more day. And that one more day turned out to be his 60th wedding anniversary. And with speaking to the patient, he showed us his wedding picture. I blew up the wedding picture and hung it in his room, and he was touched by that.
And the night before his wedding at midnight, he wanted to hear his wedding song. So we were talking about his wedding and his day, and I was able to pull up his wedding song on my smartphone, and we listened to it with him and his daughter, and he talked about his marriage to his wife, and it was quite beautiful. And
So we had the music and we had the picture. So the next day, his wife came in with his daughter, and we were able to call the cafeteria and ask for an extra meal for his wife. And they ate lunch together, and the cafeteria actually made a cake for them also. So when they brought the cake up,
We all sang happy anniversary to him.
and his wife was very touched by it. She was a little confused, but she understood what was going on, and that was their special day. And it was just great that they had that time together. And unfortunately, he passed away the next day.
So he got his wish to be alive for one more day. And we did see the family exactly 1 year later. They came back to visit. They offered a donation to the ICU. We gave them a Caring Moment book. And his brother had been a patient during that year, and we gave him a book, and he was touched by the care that his brother had received in our ICU. And it was incredible. The daughter said that the whole episode that happened made her sister move back home to Warwick. That brought the family closer together.
Yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
Mr. A was admitted to ICU after many years of a chronic illness, he had COPD. He was on a ventilator. He spent 20 days in the ICU, and around on the 20th day, the family was given the option to continue with the care and sending off to a nursing home, or to extubate him and remove him from the ventilator and just let God take over his outcome. Mrs. A, the wife of Mr. A, had a lot of difficulty trying to make this decision. George Anderson, registered nurse, and June Quick, respiratory technician, sat with Mrs. A trying to help her through and explain this process. But she pointed out that George and June were the two people that stood out in her mind as being supportive and compassionate. They explained the process to her and her daughter. They took her through every step. They assured her that he'd be well taken care of, that he would not be dismissed because the life support was being removed. Mr. A was extubated. George and June stayed at the patient's bedside with Mrs. A, holding her hand and crying with her. He did not last very long. His heart and his breathing did cease in a very short period of time, but George and June remained with Mrs. A until she felt comfortable enough to say goodbye privately. Mrs. A made a point to say that if it was not for George and June, she would never have been able to say goodbye to her lifelong friend and husband. She came back 1 year later to tell us again what a wonderful experience because of George and June to say goodbye to her husband. It was not abrupt, it wasn't medical, it was loving. She's written letters, and she insisted that the administrator of this hospital personally thank George and June. George and June were truly two people who were able to support a family member as well as the patient through a process that would be the last process he would ever live through, and to make his wife feel as if he was a wonderful person with respect and dignity as he left this earth.
My story is from 2 years ago. It was Easter morning when it was quiet in the emergency room until we received the notification from the ambulance that a 58-year-old man had fallen while in church and he had ST elevations. After we received the call, 45 minutes passed by and the man did not arrive. When he arrived to the emergency room, he was not breathing and he was unresponsive. Therefore, we had to intubate. He was intubated. We started ACLS protocol. We were doing CPR. We were doing this for 30 minutes and nothing was working. He was not responding to none of the medications or the CPR. Then the doctor stepped out, spoke with the family, and told the family that she was going to try the last round of medications and then she would have to call it. It happened to be that the same man that came in, I know personally, and my kids grew up with his kids and I knew his family, so I took this personal. I was in the room while everything was happening. I was seeing this man be shocked, no response whatsoever. At that time, the doctor stepped out and told the family that she would have to call it. One of the nurses that also worked with us, that also attend church, had took me by the hand and had told me, Alicia, when you go in the room, don't let the doctor call the patient dead, because we're all praying and believing that he's going to come back, that God is going to save him. Then I entered the room and I held his hand, and instantly I felt God's presence there. And I prayed with all my heart and all the faith that I have. I said, in Jesus' name, Father God, if it is your will, please bring this man back to his family. Instantly the man's heart came back. A strong pulse as well. The doctor was jumping up and down, and it was just like it was God's presence in there that brought this man back. Afterwards, they took him to cardiac cath, where he also went into cardiac arrest, and they had to shock him several times. Doctors amongst themselves talked and did not say that he was going to come out of it the same, but I knew in my heart that he was, because when God does a miracle, he does it completely, always to glorify him. So just remember, when medications or treatments or anything that is man-made fails, that we also always have hope.
Staff encounter 1,000 caring moments in the course of their daily activities. They often recognize each other and verbalize this in various settings. Having staff write about these moments in the context of Caston's processes has been easy in my experience, due to the fact that these processes come naturally to our nursing staff. At first, it was a matter of the staff dictating these stories to me, where I then elaborated and posted moments of excellent stories on a bi-weekly basis. Later, it became easier for the staff to make the connection and relate their stories to one of the Caston's processes. It became an easy exercise. After all, as Thomas Jefferson said, I believe that every human mind feels pleasure in doing good to another.
In the past year, we've been asking patients what they prefer to be called when they're admitted to the hospital. This has invited us the opportunity to be closer to our patients and give them more personal care, which has also brought about the opportunity for more caring moment stories. They can be very simple, just being there for that patient for that moment. But those stories are very important to share and let everybody know that you care and it's important to you.
About heart-centered stories that are occurring within my hospital system inspires me. As a nurse, I think it is important for us to identify with each other's successes, celebrate these moments, and create a strong foundation for deeper appreciation for self. Caring moments allow us to feel what we may not be able to see, and I really think that when you read the stories of others, you too feel connected with the parties involved. I would like to invite you to be inspired and open your heart and share your caring moments with your peers. To quote Dr. Watson, maybe this one moment with this one person is the very reason that we are here on earth at this time.
Since April 2010, I've been so fortunate enough to be able to collect over 100 caring moment stories that have been submitted by staff, nurses, physicians, patients, and families. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to share their story. It has truly made a difference and helped us inculcate Gene Watson's theory of human caring in Bon Secours Charity Health System. Thank you so much.